It was growing late in the fall when the chieftain came to the house of Helgi, whom men have named the Crow. Helgi heard the voices of the dead and could speak with them, and so he was a welcome presence in the village, especially with inheritors seeking their relatives' hidden treasures, but that is a story for another time. The chieftain came to Helgi and told him of a trouble. A farmer and his family had gone missing. Helgi nodded. He had heard of the disappearance. The chieftain then told Helgi he had sent a man to investigate, and that man had not returned. He asked Helgi to speak to the spirits of the dead and confirm the man's fate. After a night shut into his house, Helgi emerged the next day, smoke rolling off his dazed and exhausted form, telling the chieftain the man, the farmer, and his family were all dead, slain by a spirit that had grown maddened in its old age. The spirits of the slain were bound to the creature, unable to pass on to the great halls, and they cried out for deliverance. Helgi needed no command from his chieftain. He stated he would sleep for one day, then set out for the Cursed Vale, there to do battle with this hateful beast and meet his destiny. Hey there everyone, welcome to Solo Quest Games and our very first Solo Play Sunday. This is the show where I grab a game, roll up some character or another, make some questionable tactical decisions, and generally hope to entertain you all with my hillbilly antics and poor voice acting. We're enjoying the last gasp of the spooky season. Many of you watching have already withstood the hordes of trick-or-treaters, but we still got about a week left for Halloween, and I thought I'd do one more creepy play session before it all passes by. Now, the seed for this session's character, and therein after the adventure itself, was planted earlier in the week as I reviewed AD&D 2nd Edition's complete book of Necromancers. Go check that out if you haven't. During that review, I had this idea of a benevolent necromancer. Necromancy used to be a much more important factor in the lives of older cultures where folks would go to some guru or another and ask them to commune with their dead relatives or whoever. That idea stuck in my rather empty skull and stuck good. So I started brainstorming where you could go with this kind of idea. Some impressions started to form. A man, tall and lean, with a severe demeanor, primitive robes, thick ones like you'd see in a Viking culture, inscribed with runes and covered in trinkets and totems. Maybe a nicely carved staff at the ready. I busted out a number of books to bring all these disparate threads into something coherent. Naturally, the AD&D 2nd Edition's Player's Handbook, the Player's Options, Skills, and Powers, the Complete Book of Necromancers, and finally, the Viking Campaign Sourcebook. From each of these, I got a little bit closer to where I wanted to be. And here he is, folks, Helgi the Crow. I had to roll up 2 sets of dice to get a stat high enough for the Necromancer's requirement of 16 wisdom. However, this second set was outstanding. Just look at those. High-end average strength, high charisma, very high dexterity, constitution, and intelligence, and the crowning 17 in wisdom. I broke down his sub-abilities, molding him into something lean and durable, like my vision, favoring stamina over muscle, far more balanced than accurate, more knowledgeable than keen, a greater will over natural intuition, and an exceptional force of personality over good looks. Left his con sub-abilities alone, they were fine where they were. Then we dove into racial abilities, where I dropped all 10 character points on Tough Hide. I confess, I debated between more hit points or a naturally lower AC, but the Oracle pushed more towards that Tough Hide, so I had a vision of a man that may have had some troll blood in his lineage, hearkening to the Viking Campaign Sourcebook. Maybe covered in elaborate scarring and tattooing that's toughened him up, something like that. I kept his necromancer abilities tight and trim. He communes with the dead and they grant him boons, information, guidance, and what have you. Absolute stereotypical ancient seer kind of a fella. Someone you'd go consult to find out if your dead relatives are at peace or where Uncle Thorgal might have hidden his lost silver, something like that. I couldn't find a kit that matched the vision I had, so I ditched that altogether. Spells came down to what you'd expect. Using the rules in the Dungeon Master's Guide, I gave him Read and Detect Magic, Cantrip, and then rolled up some others focusing on Necromancy. He got the Animate Dead Animal spell I wanted from the Complete Necromancer's book, something that will hopefully prove pivotal with his scenario. Further, the choice came down between armor or shield, and the Oracle again steered me more towards shield. I much preferred the visual of ghostly armor adorning him, but after the dice said, nah, go with shield, I had this vision of a spirit with its shield kind of running interference for him, and I was sold. So those are the two spells he has at the ready for this scenario. Animate dead animals and shield. He gets that extra one as he's a specialist, obviously. Now, a little prep work off screen has steered him to this area of the woods, where dead spirits cry out they've been slain before their time by an entity of great ferocity that has descended into madness. Their untimely death at the hands of this crazed beast will not allow them to move on to their afterlife, and they remain locked here, haunting this vale. Will Helgi be the one to finally release them? Let's find out. Okay, so we have our setup here. We're reusing a map again. This is from the Pathfinder Giant Lair series. Got this at one of our local gaming stores there, Lost Legion, there in Vienna, West Virginia. We're going to do a little bit of adjustment. We're going to say, this was obviously an old camping site. We got the old fire, we got the pelts and the skins and such. Man-made barrier here. And we're actually going to say it was to keep something in rather than keep something out. So obviously we've got our crew of dragon babies that are there to make sure our heroic adventurer does not flee. So Helgi comes into the Vale. So he moves his initial 6 and he's having a look around. We're going to roll intuition, which he has 16. We roll a 7, not bad. So he passes his ability check, and me as the DM would give him some information. He sees that this veil is there is some life, some growth that was happening over here, but it does not appear to be spreading into the veil. The veil is all scrub and scraggly, and no bushes are growing, not even lichen or moss. So this is obviously a sick place. It is a dark place. He's getting some really bad vibes here. So he's going to do the obvious. He's going to concentrate and take a knee and roll his spirit lore skill. She rolls an 18. So yes, his spirit lore has a rank of 13. He rolls an 18. That is a failure. So we're actually going to take a little bit of artistic liberty. So instead of him learning nothing, he's simply overwhelmed with the shrieks and the howls of the dead that cannot rest, and they're stuck here, and there's animals and there's beings of all kinds, and he has to take a minute to clear his head and be like, okay, this is a bad place. I can't get any information out of the spirits right here, right now. So that was his action. So his first round is done. Now we're gonna roll. We're gonna do a little roll real quick here. Hold on. And we're gonna roll for surprise. Obviously, Helgi's coming in. He's scanning. He's rolled intuition already. He had a successful check there, so I'm not going to see that if he's surprised, because he's not going to be. Now, whatever's lying in the cave is its surprise. Now, on a 1, 2, or 3, it will be. It is a 4. It is not surprised, but it's also not currently intimately aware that Helgi's out here in the Vale, sniffing around, trying to figure things out. So, round 2, Helgi is going to continue to poke around. He's going to do his 6 moves. He comes upon this fire, and obviously he can tell it's been out for some time. He's already rolled, his intuition and his spirit lore, so there's not really anything further he can roll to get further information right now. So he's just going to kind of have to poke around and figure out what needs to be done here. So he's going to use his other action to move 6. He's moving over to here where he finds a ton of bones, both more, man sized and also smaller. And he has an idea. He's like, okay, obviously there's something bad here. Let's go ahead and get stuff prepared. So the shield spell only runs 5 rounds per level, and he's level 1. So he's only got 5 rounds of protection. So that's not going to last long. So we're not going to do that preemptively. What we are going to do is animate dead animals. So, he performs this commune with the spirits, and he calls upon them to rise up, to take vengeance on whatever took their lives. And, they're more than happy to. So he can animate, if they're a quarter of a hit dice or less, he can animate 4 of them per level as skeletons, which he's going to do. So they all pop up, and these are all dogs. These are hunting dogs and family pets and so on and so forth that have died to whatever's here, and they are ready to rise back up and take their vengeance. Now, the animate dead animal spell lasts quite a while, so we're not going to worry about the duration on that too much. So, in looking around, he can see that there's nothing out here. So, whatever it is probably in this cave. So, we are going to go ahead and move our 6, and he's going to direct his minions to go ahead and check things out for him. Not that they are expendable, but they're obviously there to help him. So they're going to go ahead and move the rest of their move. Everybody moves into the cave mouth. Now, I am going to go ahead and roll initiative, and the animated skeletal dogs are going to share Helge's initiative. Bad guy's got an 8. Good guy's got a 10. Plus 4 for his weapon speed, which means it's 12. So yeah, Helge's going second. Oh boy, that sucks. Okay, so right now the big bad is not going to take, it's not surprised, but it's not going to take any action just yet. It wants to see what's coming down the pipe. Okay, so Helge is now inside the cave. He's got sighting distance, and he can see within the cave is a rotting old bear, some kind of cave bear that has decrepified with age and is just refusing to die of natural causes. It's just like, nope, nope, you're going to have to take me out. And whatever has gone wrong with it, whatever curse or spirits have plagued it, it is now the anchor for everything it slays, gets stuck here, gets bound to this world in, eternal limbo and suffering. So Helgi's here to put an end to this crap. Bad guy has initiative, so he's going to go first now. He has animal intelligence, so he's just going to charge right in. 5. So he's not going to worry about tactics because he's animal intelligence. He's going to want to get in there and maul as many as he possibly can. He has 3 attacks, 2 claw, 1 bite. So we're going to do a claw at this bear, or at this dog. The dog has AC 9. The bear has Thaco 15, so it's going to need only a 6 or better to hit, but it actually rolls a 4 and misses. Second roll is a natty 1. Now that's going to provoke a free attack. I do natty 1s. I do a fast and loose when I'm doing solo plays. So if a natty 1 is rolled, you forfeit the rest of your attacks, and they get a free attack on you. So what that dog that was getting struck at gets a free attack on the bear. And it is Thaco. What is the dog's Thaco? Thaco 20. Bear's AC is 6, and he's 14 or better to hit. Rolls a 9. That is a miss. Nothing from the dogs, or nothing from the free attack for the dogs. Now, the dogs have already moved, so these 3 have attacks. This guy's got to sacrifice his attack to move up and get in melee, which he will do. So far we got 3 attacks from the dogs on the bear. Helgi's going to move up. Now he can, with a staff, he can strike over top. These dogs, we're actually going to say he's occupying the same space as the dogs, but obviously on the map that's not going to work too well. So Helgi's going to swing first. Yes, Thaco 20 minus the bear's AC of 6, 14 or better to hit. That is a 9. That is a miss. And we got 3 dog attacks. They're going to need 14 or better to hit. We have an 11, a 7, and a 3. All 3 misses. Whiff, 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 whiff. So yeah, a whole lot of nothing that round. That's not a great start to this combat. So we go to the next round. Bear. Going to continue swinging at the dogs. We're going to start over here. 16 is a hit. A 5 is a miss. But first, let's roll the 16 damage. It does, what was it? D3 per claw. Because it's old and decrepit. It actually max damage 3. The dogs only have 2 hit points, so that dog crumples into a pile of bones and is no longer useful. Now the bite. Bear's got a bite. He's going to bite this dog here with a 4. No, he misses. So got pretty lucky that round. All right. So Helgi's striking with his stick. We have an 8 is a miss. The 3 dogs. A 6 is a miss. A 10 is a miss. An 8 is a miss. You know what? And we're going to switch dice because this is pathetic. Switching dice is a valid tactic. when your dice are screwing you over that badly. So we have all of our good guy attacks. This is round 4 now. All right. Bear. Claw. 10 is a hit. D3 damage. Probably going to drop it. Yeah, 2 points. Destroys another one. Claw number 2. It's a natural 20. Okay, that thing is just absolutely. I'm not even going to bother with the damage. It gets absolutely freaking obliterated. And we've got a bite at the last dog. A 3 is a miss. So all we got left is a dog and Helgi. We haven't landed a single hit on this bear. Helgi's going to swing and then see like if him and the dog can actually do any damage, and then he might just bug out because this did not go well at all. He is rolling a 7. That is a miss. The dog trying to get a 14 or better. And he rolls a 5. That is a miss. So whiff, whiff. So yeah, okay. So Helgi takes his attack, and then he uses his move to bug the hell out. Now, since he was in melee range with the bear gets a swing at him, and as a rear attack, so it's +2. That is a natural 20. The bear natty 20'd Helgi as he attempted to run. Let's go ahead and roll some damage. And actually, I'm going to say, okay, so the bear has 3 attacks, so we're going to roll a d3. The first set of numbers, 1 through 4, are going to be claws. If he rolls a 5 or 6, it's a bite. So let's see what he hit Helgi with. It was just a claw. Okay, and the claw does d3 damage. 2 damage. It is multiplied by 2 because of a crit, so 4 damage. So Helgi drops to 3. Just out of curiosity, where did he get mauled? Now, this is a custom homemade little hit location chart I have here. So we rolled a 54. That's thorax. Yes, yes. He just kind of clawed down Helgi's back as he tried to run. It's like, "Argh, argh." So he is yeah, he's hot footing it there. And and interestingly though, I mean the shield spell would done a darn bit of good because it's, I AC 4, which the natty 20 just goes right past that. So the dog is going to attempt to, put up the good fight while Helge runs. And rolls a 6. Yes, that's a miss. So yeah, but we're pretty sure the bear destroys, the last skeleton without ever having been hit by itself. Well, we found out, didn't we? Oh, Lord. I just can't stop chuckling at how colossally bad that went. Every single attack a miss. Not a single point of damage dealt to that bear. Just absolute failure on every level. It wasn't a total party kill, however, so there's that. But that's how it goes sometimes. The dice spoke loud and clear, made their intentions known. This just wasn't the destiny of Helgi the Crow. He was not the hero they needed, but maybe the hero they deserved? We'll go with that. Of course, this illustrates why I so rarely bust out a caster for solo play. It has to be the hardest thing in the world to design a PC mage or what have you that can go toe to toe with your average solo play challenge, at least for me. And, we all know how skilled I am or not, but much more suited to cerebral pursuits. However, I will keep making the attempt as I'm sure it amuses y'all, and that's the entire reason for me to do this. So Helgi has fled to fight another day. Bring word of the terror of the cave back to the village. I imagine they'll round up a good crew of young warriors to go deal with the thing, so maybe that'll be a solo play for some other day down the road. Anywho, thank you one and all who tuned in and gave me a moment of your time. I appreciate each and every one of you stopping by. Now, it is a beautiful Sunday, so maybe get out there, get some fresh air, take a little walk, make sure you drink you some water, but most important, gather around the table yourselves today. Bust out those dice. Have an adventure of your own. While you're at it, maybe pop in a good movie. I'm currently rewatching Fantastic Four First Steps as we speak, or watch a cartoon, read a comic, do something fun, make some memories, and as always, have a good one.